order. Roll call, please.
Councilman Samuka.
Here.
Councilman Garrick.
Here.
Councilman Accomando.
Here.
Councilwoman Mazer.
Here.
Council President Dorminio.
Here. Please rise for the salute to the flag and remain standing for a moment of silence in memory of our servicemen and women who gave the ultimate sacrifice in defense of our country, and also in memory of John F. Toohey, father of ex-Fire Chief John J. Toohey, and retired school crossing guard Samuel Burney. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Adequate notice of this meeting has been sent to all council members and to all legal newspapers in accordance with the provisions of the Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231, Public Law, 1975, and in consideration of Executive Order Number 103, issued by Governor Murphy on March 9, 2020, declaring a state of emergency and a public health emergency in the state of New Jersey.
The public is hereby advised that any statements made during a meeting of the Township Council of the Township of Saddlebrook may not be privileged or protected, and that persons or entities who take issue with such comments or are offended by saying may have in the past or will redress through the courts. Any member of the public who addresses the council speaks for themselves and not for the council.
I would like a motion to open to the public for hearing on the 2020 municipal budget and other matters. Motion?
Motion.
Second.
Roll call?
Councilman Samuka.
Yes.
Councilman Garrick.
Yes.
Councilman Accomando.
Yes.
Councilwoman Mazer.
Yes.
Council President Dorminio.
Yes. The meeting is now open to the public. Anyone wishing to speak, please come forward, state your name and address. No one? Can I have a motion to close?
Motion. Second.
Roll call?
Councilman Samuka.
Yes.
Councilman Garrick.
Yes.
Councilman Accomando.
Yes.
Councilwoman Mazer.
Yes.
Council President Dorminio.
Yes. Comments? Mayor, would you like to start?
Sure, this is the comments. Are we doing?
You talking budget?
Oh, I'm sorry. We have Steve.
Yeah.
I forgot Steve. Okay.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Well, you don't come out of your house. Okay, you're on.
Okay, thank you, and good evening, everybody. Apparently, you just had your public hearing on the budget, in which nobody had any public comment. Budget has been reviewed by the state. And the state has approved budget as introduced. We are anxiously awaiting guidance from the state how to utilize federal money. And I believe, every municipality got a notice today will be receiving their 50% of their federal award within the next 30 days, which is a requirement of federal law. We're still waiting for the state to issue a local finance notice, which will direct local governments how they can utilize the money in your budget and going forward. The hope is that as we have significant revenue reductions under the pandemic, that we'll be able to utilize a portion of allocation as additional revenue in this budget. Why we're not going to entertain adopting the budget until such time as guidelines from the state. One of the things you're going to do is, I believe, Pete, on the agenda tonight is a resolution authorizing estimated tax bill.
Yes.
First quarter, that will allow you to have billed out elections coming in at the end of July, the beginning of August. The adoption of the budget will not hurt town cash flow, the town finances.
the hope is in within the next couple of weeks, if we get the guidance from the state, we'll be able to amend the budget, reduce the tax levy, some sort of amount of money, off the budget, the tax impact that everybody, while not comfortable with, feeling better about that will come. What I have.
And the increase for right now, what are we looking at?
Right now, the increase dollars
I'm sorry, you broke up.
$198.
Average household.
Right, and that's part of that. $46 of that is due to the reassessment program. Because as I believe I mentioned when we introduced the budget, that for the first time, 4 years you've been doing this annual program, the shift of the ratables towards the residential and away from the commercial industrial. That's the first time it's happened. So even if the tax levy was the same as last year's, it would be a $46 municipal tax increase because of that shift in the assessments away from commercial towards residential. And you're not the only municipality that's having that issue. 2021, the boon of suburban real estate is almost like folklore now. The issues with commercial real estate are well documented, and probably not going to get better before it gets worse in terms of expiring leases and businesses realizing that they don't need as much space as they have presently or they had before the pandemic. So again, the hope is to get this down to an amount that everybody's a little bit more comfortable with. So, that's the hope, and that's why we're going to wait and do what's right in terms of what's best for the taxpayers.
Okay. And included in that is the municipal complex. This is year one, right?
Year one, the interest is in the budget. Net, the debt service went up $519,000, of which we're utilizing $450,000 of additional surplus to offset that increase, which is exactly what we've been telling the public since we began the journey of purchasing that property and broken ground, starting the construction, was that we'd be able to absorb the additional debt service by virtue of a drop-off, older debt service, and using additional surplus that we've accumulated over the last few years for that purpose. So the issue with it, the tax increase has nothing to do with the new municipal complex. It has more to do with $200,000 increase in group medical, a $90,000 increase in utilities, a statutory $53,000 increase in the contribution to the library, $220,000 increase in double strokes. Just those handful of items, $1,000 increase cost.
What was the last one? Because you cut out.
Say that again?
Can you repeat that, Steve? You cut out on
The last one.
The last one.
Pensions, $220,000. All in all, and those handful of items are over $600,000 in increased cost. Have to deal with. Not things that you control, not things that you know anything about. The things you can control, apartments, all the other expenses, are $23,000 less in 2021 than they were in 2020.
Steve, in terms of revenue, we took a hit with what, the court and the tax,
Yeah,
the hotel tax?
Took a hit in the court, you took a hit in the hotel tax, took a hit in on interest on investments because, you know, the beginning of the pandemic, the rates went down. It took a hit a little bit on construction fees. So again, we're doing the best we can with you know, what we have. The good news is that I'm pretty confident, based on everything I've seen, that this new federal money will be able to be used for revenue losses. The question is just going to be how much can we mitigate loss in revenue with the new federal money based on information that the state puts out, hopefully within the next week, 10 days. So we're not done yet. That's why we took our time to do it. That's why we're going to take our time before we finalize the budget. And make sure we make use of new federal program, the best interest of the taxpayer.
Steve, Bob White, do you know how much that would decrease the tax levy, this federal American Rescue Plan funds? You know how much it would offset?
Well, I mean, you know how much what we're getting this year?
Approximately in total, it was 1.3 million, according to what was reported.
150,000 this year, 650,000 next year. So depending on what the state does with the special emergency that passed last year to deal with some of the revenue losses last year, we have a special emergency for 66,505. So if that has to get up 50%, then there's only a couple $100,000 total for revenue replacement this year. But if the special emergency is not part of that, then with part of the 600,000, I think would be held over this year's budget. Which is why we're waiting. Because there's too many unknowns right now. And the state's been very slow coming out with their criteria and regulations. The Fed released their first set of information probably a month ago. I'm hoping we're able to most or all of our 600,000 tax levy this year. But I really wouldn't want to bank on it because of the way it's state. Again, there's some more adjustments we can make. We might be able to squeeze out a little bit more surplus. I just didn't want to do anything so we have the full picture, and then we decide collectively exactly where we want to be and how we want to.
Thank you, Steve.
Very welcome, Mayor.
Steve Ingersoll-Oka. I'm just looking at the outstanding debt, and I'm just trying to get a grasp. I mean, you're in a number of communities. The amount of the debt that we have currently, in light of the size of our community and the size of our budget, is that in line with other municipalities of our size? Is it less, more?
Well, I mean, you can't really look at it in that context because not every community is spending $28 million to build a brand new municipal complex. That's a one-time day when he was signing to the public about I say that it's a once-in-a-lifetime thing. Build municipal complexes or build structures that magnitude on a regular basis. So you're at a little over 2% of average life values and debt. You're allowed up to 3.5%. So there is the ability to do more, do your regular projects. projects. But again, don't lose sight of the fact that in the over $50 million of debt outstanding, 6 is for one project. That project will, I think I can confidently say, project's done, it's gonna outlive all of us. The issue here was not how much debt we had, but how we could manage it in terms of the other debt, the debt service, the budget. And it's evidenced by the 2021 budget. We have the full freight of the interest on that project in this budget. And by utilizing additional surplus, the impact on the budget is really negligible. That was the biggest concern, was that we could, the affordability based upon that service piece of the budget, so it was not that project is not going to cause these material increase in the tax levy, and it's not, and it hasn't, and it won't. It's the revenue losses, it's all these other expenses that you really have no control over.
Thanks.
Anybody else has any questions for Steve? No? I think you've answered all of our questions this evening, Steve.
President?
And I would like to say, though, when we find out what the state is doing, that you'll come back in person live.
I would hope, I would say by the next time I see you, I'll actually see you.
Okay. Okay, we look forward to that.
Listen, I'll give you my wife's cell phone number.
I didn't say that, really.
Yeah, I could be in a witness protection program. I've got a house arrest for almost 16 months.
Well, we're glad you're well, and so we will see you at a future meeting, for sure.
Yes. So as soon as the information is out, date, figure out what we're allowed to do, eat. We have to have a special meeting for the next public meeting or work session. And we'll get something together to figure it out.
Okay, thank you.
All righty?
Have a good night.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Take care,
Have a
Steve.
great night.
Bye. Okay. Comment?
Okay. Thank you.
I skipped right out. I forgot he was on the phone.
It's not fun.
My COVID update, I'm very relieved, as I think all of us are, that it seems like we're putting this pandemic behind us, or at least making great strides at it. I'm happy our meetings are back here at Town Hall, although tonight we're having some technical difficulties.
Yes.
We haven't been here since
March
of 2020, so our local numbers as of Wednesday, June the 2nd, total of 1,513 confirmed positive cases since March 2020, 96 active cases, 30 deaths, and 1,387 recoveries. That number's really higher because the 96 active cases, they don't get removed for a month, 30 days. So most of these people probably don't, well, I shouldn't say most of them, but the numbers are dropping so much. A lot of them are probably already recovered, and they'll come off within the next couple of weeks. The statewide average is 272 new cases a day. That's down 82% from last month. Over 8 billion vaccines have been administered in the state. 4.2 million individuals are fully vaccinated, representing 56% of all New Jersey residents. As cases began to rapidly decline, Governor Murphy lifted statewide mask mandates, social distancing required for indoor businesses. The outdoor mask mandates had already been lifted in early May, and now it's no longer necessary to stay 6 feet apart outdoors. Tomorrow, all indoor gathering limits will be lifted, as well as capacity limits for large venues. Some spaces where masks will continue to be required include healthcare and long-term care facilities, public transit, airplanes, buses, and trains, transit hubs, airports, bus and train stations, public-facing state offices such as motor vehicles, warehousing and manufacturing facilities. The budget, we just had the hearing. I'm looking forward to finding out how much financial aid we're going to get from the American Rescue Plan. Hopefully, we can use that to reduce the tax levy. I know we will be able to, but how much, we'll have to see. Bergen County Community Development Block Grant. We had a meeting last Monday, May the 24th. Distribution of the Central Region's funding allotment was done, and I'm happy to say that as long as it still has to be approved by the authorities, but it looks like we're going to get $156,000 and change for handicapped accessible requirements in the new municipal complex. Clean Communities Grant, we just received today $25,286.11. Thanks to our coordinator, Peter Ladico. Thanks, Pete.
Welcome, Mayor.
You wear many hats. A road improvement program. From now until the end of the year, many town streets are going to be paved. Phase 2 of the 2020 road program will be completed Finnegan Avenue, Mackenzie Street, Weather Terrace, and West Street. The 2021 road program will also be done Wilson Street, South Broadway, Hobson Ave, Steinway Road, Burgess Drive, and George Street. Also, Albany Street, which is partially funded by the 2020 Bergen County Community Development Block Grant, will be done. Bids were opened recently and awarded. It should be awarded tonight to a little better. Ordinances. We have several second reading for capital improvements, $60,000 for Mako Street Park. So after this, we can proceed with the new playground that many of the residents are eagerly awaiting. Second reading for no overnight street parking for commercial vehicles. We've had a lot of talk about that, so I'm hoping that will pass. Second reading also on an ordinance amending our zoning ordinance as it relates to affordable housing in a residential district. Also tied to the second reading on amending Chapter 48 of the Town Code entitled Affordable Housing. There's also a second reading on a calendar year 2021 ordinance to exceed the municipal budget appropriation limits and establish a cap bank. And finally, we have a first reading on ordinance amending the Town Code and adding an additional chapter entitled Communication Facilities Right-of-Way Permits. Memorial Day Parade. Even with the bad weather, it didn't dampen our spirits. I'm very happy that the VFW board did not cancel. The VFW in town received a lot of positive publicity, which is nice. News 12 did a feature story, and the Record did a news article as well. It's a nice way to honor and show respect for our veterans. I think it was great. We had so many people. I was surprised with that bad weather that they came out, and along the parade route, it was nice to see them cheering us on. We also had, as is customary, wreath laying ceremonies for veterans and our Saddlebrook Volunteer Ambulance Corps and Saddlebrook Volunteer Fire Department deceased members. I want to thank VFW Commander Lou Varelli, VFW Auxiliary President Kathleen Shanahan, and the whole parade committee. I want to congratulate our Grand Marshal Ron Wickham. Special thanks to David Love and Mike Nahay of the American Legion, who helped out a lot. Also, our Master of Ceremonies, former Mayor, Saddlebrook Mayor Lou Darminio, Pastor Christopher Wolf, and Kevin Kustra, Basil Pizzuto for their prayers at these ceremonies. Our photographer who's here tonight, Thomas Van Winkle, and our videographer Rafael Gonzalez of En La Casa for really coming out in that bad weather and getting a lot of good footage. We thank you very much for that. So for the people that couldn't make it, they at least can see some photos and a very nice video, Rafael. Thank you. Also Ernie Wasser for driving his Corvette with our mayor and council banner. Members of the mayor's youth group for marching with the mayor and council. Also our autism advocate and Township Access for All member Ryan Roy, he walked with us as well. I want to thank District 38 Assemblywoman Lisa Swain and Assemblyman Chris Tully, who also walked the entire parade. Frank Ortega and the Saddlebrook High School Middle School Band. And again, members of the public that lined the parade route cheering us on. That was much appreciated. Upcoming town events. There's a flag retirement ceremony that the Boy Scouts do. It's on next Wednesday, June the 9th, 7:30 p.m. at the VFW. Apparently they only, they burn the flags, they only do cotton flags. You can't bring nylon. Nylon they have to be destroyed in a different fashion. The fishing contest is June the 19th, 9 a.m. to noon at the Bergen County Park, Otto Paley section. Council meetings, our next caucus is Tuesday, June the 29th, and the regular meeting is Thursday, July the 1st. The Township picnic is Saturday, August the 28th. That's an all-day affair. What time does it start, Cameron?
12 to 4.
12 to 4. The town, we want to have a town-wide garage sale sometime in the fall, so we're going to plan for that. Happy Father's Day, happy 4th of July. Thank you.
Tough act to follow. I just wanted, like Bob said with the Memorial Day parade, I was very proud to see all those people come out during that rain and cheer on parade goers. It was very nice to see. Happy Father's Day, and I would like to congratulate all the students moving up and moving on. And that's it.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. I'd just like to commend Lou Verrilli again on the Memorial Day Parade, as well as all the members of the VFW for doing such a great job. Obviously, weather didn't work out the way we would like, but we were out there and it was great seeing all the residents and everything. So I just want to thank everyone, as well as Fire Chief Joe Palazzati, and the Fire Department, and the Ambulance Corps, Captain Harry Reed, for their services that they had at their respective houses. Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you. Councilman Simaluka. No microphone. You have to speak loud.
Yeah. I can echo what everyone said about the Memorial Day Parade. I was in a car, and I can tell you, even being in a car, it was miserable. So the people that the mayor and Todd and Dave walked with our assembly people and people in the open air, the VFW auxiliary, kudos to them, because that was it was amazing, and thank you to the residents who came out to support everybody. For those who don't know, we had, I believe, 5 memorial services that day. We started at 9 o'clock with the American Legion, 10 o'clock was the fire department, 11 o'clock ambulance corps, 12 o'clock was at town hall, 1 p.m. was at the Korean War Veteran Memorial on Skillman and Weller Island there. And unfortunately, it's a sad reality that there were no members of the Korean War veterans group there. I tried to do the math. I think the youngest person that would have served in the Korean War would now be 89 years of age. So just like we've gone through losing our World War II vets, we're rapidly losing our Korean War vets. And the weather was horrible, so a lot of whoever is remaining, I'm sure the weather was a concern. And hopefully, whoever is a member will come out next year. And also the next day, at 11 o'clock, was the VFW Memorial at the Circle, which is always a touching tribute. Afterwards, I want to commend all the firehouses, because they do open the firehouses to people to come in, and generally the council members and mayor, public officials make the rounds, hook and ladder, engine 1 and engine 2. I want to thank them for their hospitality. The mayor said that there's the VFW is going to have in conjunction with the Boy Scouts, going to have the flag ceremony. At the same time, though, I got notice, theirs is at what time, Mayor?
I think it's at 7:30.
7:30. From 6:30 to 8:30, there is a fundraiser for Saddlebrook first responders that is taking place the same day, Wednesday, 6:30 to 8:30, at Midland Brew House, or Brew Pub. I believe the donation is $30, and the monies raised are going to go to first responders. And the special guest is a former Yankee, Roy White. So whoever can attend, Yankee fans or sports fans, or just people who want to support first responders, see if you can come out next Wednesday at 6:30. And happy Father's Day, and good start to the summer, hopefully. Thank you.
Sorry, just to interrupt you, I think it's Mickey Rivers.
Is it?
Yeah, it's Mickey Rivers.
Mickey Rivers? Sorry. I'm a Met fan, so.
Councilwoman Mazer.
Thank you. First, I want to thank all the department heads and of course, Pete and the mayor for presenting such a fiscally responsible budget. It certainly has been a unprecedented time and challenging time, to say the least. And thank you for keeping all the residents and everyone in mind when presenting that. I also would like to give a shout out to the VFW and everyone that came out for that parade. It's certain everyone made the best of what it was, but thanks for your dedication. I also like to congratulate everyone from preschool to grad school, graduating. A shout out to my preschool class, which is this Sunday. And what else did I say? Oh, I'd like to thank everyone for the best wishes. I had open heart surgery on May 18th, and I promise not to miss a council meeting one way or another. So I'm here, and I thank everyone for their best wishes and everything. It's so much appreciated. And one other note, tomorrow is a very special lady's 98th birthday. Miss Nancy Garrett is so near and dear to so many people's heart, but I feel personally so close to her because in the early 80s she talked me into running for PTA president at St. Philip's, and I was kind of shy and a little bit of an introvert, and she helped me along, and she definitely was my mentor, and I believe it paved the path for where I am here today. Good, better, and different. I owe it to Nancy, and I want to wish her all the best. We love you, Nancy. Happy birthday. Thank you. Have a fun day.
Okay, well, I think you all covered everything. So I'm not going to repeat that. Yes, Nancy Garrett, love her to death, secretary at St. Philip's for 28 years.
Yes.
She knows generations in this town, and she remembers all of them. So I say happy birthday to her also. I just want to bring up that Tuesday was a great day because at the new municipal complex, it was the start of demolition. The mayor and I were there. I thought I was going to be able to, break a wall, but it doesn't work like that. So I had my hard hat and I was ready to do that, but they said, no, we got to take all the power lines down. So they are doing it, they are preparing, and I will be back tomorrow to take a peek and see where they are now, but I understand it takes some doing before they really can start tearing anything down. So I think that's a good thing. A good note, line dancing for all the seniors is going to start in July on Mondays, and that, I believe that starts at 10:30. They're looking forward to it. Bingo is back. Bingo is doing well. The bus is running for the doctors. And I think, oh, the town picnic, August 28th, yes. Lots of great things planned, Pete.
I heard you.
Pete watches the budget. No, it's gonna be great. We're gonna have, yeah, it's gonna be great, rides, food trucks, so that'll be a good thing. And lastly, to all the dads and the granddads, happy Father's Day.
Just through the chair, one more thing.
Sure.
Saturday is the first annual walk to end epilepsy for Daniel DeBella. It's this Saturday, 10 a.m. at Veterans Field, so if you come out, show support. He's one of our own. I'm sure he would appreciate himself with family. Thank you.
Thank you. Can I ask the clerk to,
Before we do,
oh,
just real quick, through the chair, I just want to remind everybody that next Tuesday, June 8th, is primary day. We will be having elections back at the polling places. And just a reminder for residents, it is a primary, so there will be Democrat and Republican candidates. If you are a Democrat, you will vote just for a Democratic candidate. If you're a registered Republican, you can vote for a Republican candidate. And if you're undeclared, you can declare a party that day. So just wanted to remind the procedures for the election. Thank you.
can I ask you to?
Sure.
Read the ordinances?
Ordinance number 1700-21, a capital ordinance to appropriate the sum of $60,000 for the undertaking of various improvements to Mako Street Park in Porter Township of Saddlebrook in the county of Bergen, state of New Jersey, and providing that such sum so appropriated shall be raised from a county grant and from a private contribution.
Can I have a motion, please?
Second.
Roll call?
Councilman Saluka.
Yes.
Councilwoman Mazur.
Yes.
Councilman Garrett.
Yes.
Councilman Accomando.
Yes.
Council President Dorman.
Yes.
A capital ordinance to appropriate the sum of $60,000 for the undertaking of various improvements to Mako Street Park in Porter Township of Saddlebrook in the county of Bergen, state of New Jersey, and providing that such sum so appropriated shall be raised from a county grant and from a private contribution.
Can I have a motion to open the meeting to the public on this ordinance?
Motion. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
The meeting is now open to this, open to the public on this ordinance and only. Anyone wishing to speak, please come forward. Seeing none,
Motion to close?
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Be resolved by the Township Council of the Township of Saddlebrook that the ordinance entitled, a capital ordinance to appropriate the sum of $60,000 for the undertaking of various improvements to the Mako Street Park in Porter Township of Saddlebrook in the county of Bergen, state of New Jersey, and providing that such sum so appropriated shall be raised from a county grant and from a private contribution, is now passed on second and final reading, and that the township clerk be directed to advertise said ordinance or title thereof in the press, together with the notice of the date of passage of said ordinance according to law.
Motion to approve?
Second,
Second.
roll call?
Councilman Saluka.
Yes.
Councilwoman Mazur.
Yes.
Councilman Garrett.
Yes.
Councilman Accomando.
Yes.
Council President Dorman.
Yes.
Ordinance 1701-21 is an ordinance amending Chapter 206, 9.43.1 F, Affordable Housing Residential District.
Motion, please.
Motion.
Second.
Roll call?
Councilman Saluka.
Yes.
Councilwoman Mazur.
Yes.
Councilman Garrett.
Yes.
Councilman Accomando.
Yes.
Council President Dorman.
Yes.
An ordinance amending Chapter 206-9.43.1, F, Affordable Housing Residential District.
Motion to open to the public?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting is now open to the public on this ordinance. Anyone wishing to speak, please come forward. Seeing none, may I have a motion?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Be resolved by the Township Council of the Township of Saddlebrook that the ordinance entitled, an ordinance amending Chapter 206-9.43.1, F, Affordable Housing Residential District, This is now passed on second and final reading, and that the township clerk be directed to advertise said ordinance or title thereof in the press, together with the notice of its dated passage of said ordinance according to law.
Motion, please.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilman Samuka.
Yes.
Councilwoman Mazer.
Yes.
Councilman Garrett.
Yes.
Councilman Arcamanda.
Yes.
Council President Bergen.
Yes.
Ordinance 1702-21, an ordinance amending Chapter 206, Article VE, K of the Township Code of the Township of Saddlebrook entitled Zoning Affordable Housing Districts.
Motion, please.
Motion.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilman Samuka.
Yes.
Councilwoman Mazer.
Yes.
Councilman Garrett.
Yes.
Councilman Arcamanda.
Yes.
Council President Bergen.
Yes.
An ordinance amending Chapter 206, Article VE, K of the Township Code of the Township of Saddlebrook entitled Zoning Affordable Housing Districts.
Can I have a motion to open the meeting to the public on this ordinance?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
The meeting is open to the public on this ordinance. Anyone wishing to speak? Seeing none, motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Be it resolved by the Township Council of the Township of Saddlebrook that the ordinance entitled, an ordinance amending Chapter 206, Article VE, K of the Township Code of the Township of Saddlebrook entitled Zoning Affordable Housing Districts is now passed on second and final reading, and that the Township Clerk be directed to advertise said ordinance or title thereof in the press, together with the notice of the date of passage of said ordinance according to the law.
Motion.
Motion.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilman Samuka.
Yes.
Councilwoman Mazer.
Yes.
Councilman Garrett.
Yes.
Councilman Arcamanda.
Yes.
Council President Bergen.
Yes.
Ordinance 1703-21, an ordinance amending Chapter 48 of the Township Code of the Township of Saddlebrook entitled Affordable Housing.
Motion, please.
Motion.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilman Samuka.
Yes.
Councilwoman Mazer.
Yes.
Councilman Garrett.
Yes.
Councilman Arcamanda.
Yes.
Council President Bergen.
Yes.
An ordinance amending Chapter 48 of the Township Code of the Township of Saddlebrook entitled Affordable Housing.
Motion to open the meeting to the public.
Motion. Second.
All in favor? Meeting is now open to the public on this ordinance. Anyone wishing to speak? Seeing none, make a motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Be resolved by the Township Council of the Township of Saddlebrook that the ordinance entitled, an ordinance amending Chapter 48 of the Township Code of the Township of Saddlebrook entitled Affordable Housing is now passed on second and final reading, and that the Township Clerk be directed to advertise said ordinance or title thereof in the press, together with the notice of the date of passage of said ordinance according to law.
Motion.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilman Samuka.
Yes.
Councilwoman Mazer.
Yes.
Councilman Garrett.
Yes.
Councilman Arcamanda.
Yes.
Council President Bergen.
Yes.
Ordinance 1704-21, it's a calendar year 2021 ordinance to exceed the municipal budget appropriation limits and to establish a cap bank for NJSA 48:4-45.14.
Motion.
Motion.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilman Samuka.
Yes.
Councilwoman Mazer.
Yes.
Councilman Garrett.
Yes.
Councilman Arcamanda.
Yes.
Council President Bergen.
Yes.
Calendar year 2021 ordinance to exceed the municipal budget appropriation limits and to establish a cap bank per NJSA 48:4-45.14.
Motion to open the meeting to the public.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Meeting is open to the public on this ordinance. Anyone wishing to come forward? Seeing none, motion to close.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Be resolved by the Township Council of the Township of Saddlebrook that the ordinance entitled Calendar Year 2021 Ordinance to exceed the municipal budget appropriation limits and to establish a cap bank per NJSA 48:4-45.14 is now passed on second and final reading, and that the Township Clerk be directed to advertise said ordinance or title thereof in the press, together with the notice of the date of passage of said ordinance according to law.
Motion.
Motion.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilman Samuka.
Yes.
Councilwoman Mazer.
Yes.
Councilman Garrett.
Yes.
Councilman Arcamanda.
Yes.
Council President Bergen.
Yes.
Ordinance 1705-21 is an ordinance amending Chapter 196, Article 2, entitled Parking.
Motion?
Motion.
Second.
Roll call?
Councilman Saluka?
Yes.
Councilwoman Mazer?
Yes.
Councilman Garrett?
Yes.
Councilman Aquilano?
Yes.
Council President Arminio?
Yes.
An ordinance amending Chapter 196, Article 2, entitled Parking.
Motion to open the meeting to the public?
Motion. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Meeting is now open to the public on this ordinance.
Motion to close the
Motion?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Be resolved by the Township Council of the Township of Saddlebrook that the ordinance entitled, an ordinance amending Chapter 196, Article 2, entitled Parking, does not pass on second and final reading, and that the Township Clerk be directed to advertise said ordinance or title thereof in the press, together with the notice of the date of passage of said ordinance according to law.
Motion?
Motion.
Second.
Roll call?
Councilman Saluka?
No.
Councilwoman Mazer?
Yes.
Councilman Garrett?
Yes.
Councilman Aquilano?
Yes.
Council President Arminio?
Yes.
First reading ordinance 1706-21 is an ordinance amending the code of the Township of Saddlebrook with the addition of Chapter 207 entitled Communication Facilities Right-of-Way Permits to provide for the regulation of small cell wireless facilities within the municipal rights of way for first reading.
Motion?
Motion.
Second.
Roll call?
Councilman Saluka?
Yes.
Councilwoman Mazer?
Yes.
Councilman Garrett?
Yes.
Councilman Aquilano?
Yes.
Council President Arminio?
Yes.
Now therefore be resolved by the Township Council that an ordinance amending the code of the Township of Saddlebrook with the addition of a Chapter 207 entitled Communication Facilities Right-of-Way Permits to provide for the regulation of small cell wireless facilities within the municipal rights of way, heretofore passed on first reading, be further considered for final passage at a meeting to be held on the first day of July 2021 at 7:00 p.m. or soon thereafter is the matter to be reached at the municipal building, 93 Market Street. And at such time and place, all persons interested be given an opportunity to be heard concerning said ordinance according to law, with the notice of its introduction and passage on first reading, and of the time and place when and where said ordinance will be further considered for final passage.
Motion?
Motion.
Second.
Roll call?
Councilman Saluka?
Yes.
Councilwoman Mazer?
Yes.
Councilman Garrett?
Yes.
Councilman Aquilano?
Yes.
Council President Bergen?
Yes.
That completes the ordinances, Madam President.
Okay, we will go to,
Consent.
yes.
All items listed with an asterisk are considered routine and non-controversial by the Township Council and will be approved by one motion. There will be no separate discussion on these items unless a council member or member so requested, in which case the item or items will be removed from the consent agenda and considered in its normal sequence on the agenda. The one motion signifies adoption of all resolutions, received and filed letters, correspondence, reports, and approval of minutes and applications not part of the consent agenda are the minutes, resolution number 10, and resolution number 13.
Can I have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Roll call?
Councilman Saluka?
Yes.
Councilman Garrett?
Yes.
Councilman Aquilano?
Yes.
Councilwoman Mazer?
Yes.
Council President Arminio?
Yes.
Okay, we have the minutes of the May 6, 2021 regular public meeting.
Motion?
Motion.
Second.
Roll call?
Councilman Saluka?
Yes.
Councilman Garrett?
Yes.
Councilman Aquilano?
Abstain.
Councilwoman Mazer?
Yes.
Council President Arminio?
Yes.
The resolutions 10 and 13, Councilwoman Mazer will recuse herself. We'll take a vote on that, both resolutions at one time.
Okay. Can I get a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Roll call?
Councilman Saluka?
Yes.
Councilman Garrett?
Yes.
Councilman Aquilano?
Yes.
Council President Arminio?
Yes.
Councilwoman.
You can come back in.
Completes the agenda, Madam President.
Okay. Does anyone have old business or new? Anthony?
Thank you, Council President. I just wanted to let you know, I spoke with Joe Layton, Township's planner, and he'll have a report for you the next meeting, before the next meeting, regarding the cannabis issues we discussed.
Oh, good.
And I can have them come, obviously, I should have them come to the work session, because you probably want me to have something ready for meeting, Thursday, if that's okay.
Yes,
Right?
yes.
And, I did get a message, I think we talked about this briefly, there's an attorney who, I don't remember the law firm, but he works with the cannabis group, he talked about, the issues regarding cannabis, in one of the other towns that I represent. Did you want him to come and give you information, and you ask some questions, he's very knowledgeable.
Yes,
Okay.
that's what we could, and it's at a work session, so, I
Okay,
think
well,
that's a good thing.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Mayor?
I just have a couple of things that I forgot. I want to congratulate all the students from preschool all the way up to college that are graduating. Also, I forgot to mention the police and the DPW during the parade. They did a fantastic job setting up and the traffic and all. I also want to wish Nancy Guerra a happy birthday. I'm hoping that I can do that personally tomorrow. She's a wonderful lady. She really is.
Yes.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Old, new? No? Okay, can I get a motion to open the meeting to the public for
Motion.
agenda items only?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone wishing to come to speak? Seeing none.
Motion to close the public.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any other comments? Motion
Welcome
to...
back to town hall.
Yes, yes. Can I have a motion to
Motion
adjourn?
closed.
Motion.
Motion adjourned.
All in favor?
Aye.